Hey guys, welcome back. I kickstarted everything in the spring, coming back to YouTube, only for the summer to hit, and it ended up being somewhat of a disaster. I say that because everything was going good. I think the last thing I showed you guys is that I was preparing for our summer vacation trip. Everything was going great. We were still packing. The girls were all ready. We started our end of the year stuff. So my oldest had her award ceremony, which went really well. She won like 7 different awards for the school year. My youngest, she had pre-K graduation. You know us personally, you know that it was a really rocky start to the beginning of her pre-K year. We honestly had to pull her out of the program that we put her in and move her back to her old program. And it was emotional, it was frustrating, it was a lot happening at that time, but it all worked out. So getting her to graduation was just such a huge celebration. And then the next day, everything came tumbling down. May 20th, my grandfather transitioned. Did not know that that was going to happen. We weren't expecting it. He was in a facility. So much I could say, but I'm not going to. Nevertheless, he passed on. And it was a pretty rocky time for me. Honestly, my mental health took a huge hit. A huge hit. I didn't get a chance to grieve that process like I think I should have. That's where it just made everything else super duper hard for me. So that happened as we're preparing to get ready to leave for this trip. So that happens like I think the Saturday before we get ready to leave. A week that I'm leading in, it's the last week of school. There's millions of things going on. It was just so much happening that week. I was planning a funeral. I'm gonna leave my opinions and thoughts on having a funeral too fast, but anyways, we planned a funeral. So I'm in one state, my family's in another state. We are on Zoom calls, we are on phone calls, we are on meetings. Meanwhile now, track with me here. We were supposed to leave the next day on Saturday after the girls got out of school. Meanwhile, the funeral was planned for that same day. And I'm supposed to go on my family vacation. Not just my family, my in-laws as well. So we've all paid for this trip. All right, we've paid for this trip. So had to pay an extra few $100. Thank God the Airbnb was open at the time. Email the lady, she was super duper nice. She was just like, yeah, no problem, it's open that Friday. Drive down there. It took us hours to get down to Pensacola. We finally got there that night. I literally laid my head down. I had my whole bag packed. Literally maybe 5 hours later, I got in an Uber. I got to the airport at Pensacola. I flew from Pensacola back to Atlanta because that's the only way you can get to Florida for some reason. Took a flight from Atlanta to Daytona. Change in my parents' hotel room. Go to the funeral. Funeral ended at 3:45. I had 15 minutes to hug all of my family. Uber's waiting outside of the church. With my bag, everything else, I get in the Uber at 4 o'clock, get to Daytona International Airport. I take a flight from Daytona back to Atlanta. And I take another layover from Atlanta to back to Pensacola so I can get back to our trip. It's literally all in one day. We're talking 4 flights in one day. I was so exhausted. I cannot even, mind you, I cried the entire way. My body is already tired. Then I get there, funeral, few hours, the whole nine, the whole shebang. Do the best that we can to pull it together, get back so that the next day we can have our family vacation. So we have the family vacation. It all goes well. As you can see here, it all goes well. Ended up ending with some family drama that typically doesn't happen. So it just kind of put like a damper on the whole thing. The whole trip was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. So my relaxation that I was looking forward to, like getting out of town, was like, I just need to go ahead and get back home because, yeah, this is not cool. When I got home and I laid my head on my pillow is when I broke. And I just cried and heaved and cried and cried and heaved. That was like the first moment that I was able to actually just breathe and grieve what had literally just happened. Like when I tell you the summer really, really hit me hard, so that is why I'm now back. That is why I am now just able to continue sharing, because it's just been a lot. It's been so much happening. So thank you all for your prayers and the people who know. And if you didn't know, now you know. You can still have peace in the midst of chaos. Guys, take care, and you'll be seeing more from me real soon. Take care.